Hello, and welcome to the Nights in the Nightmare Let's Play. This is video 29, covering scene 24. Last time, we faced off against Scipio the Titan, or otherwise known as Scipio the Hideous, and persevered. We also found the Ancardia, which is the holy staff that both Maria and Melissa have been looking for. Right now, Maria's not with us. She ran off to talk to Melissa last time we interacted with her. So we'll hang on to it for her in the meantime. As for us, the Wisp, we've pressed on into the castle even further and are getting accosted by some monsters, so we're going to put them in their place. Before we move on, one thing I wanted to mention that I forgot to last time, but we completed scene 23.5. Now, to give you guys some perspective, that puts us just over the halfway point of this game, so still quite a few more stages to come. Having said that, let's move on. Okay, quite a lot on the field to deal with, and some objects that are a bit of a pain in the ass, to be honest. But first and foremost, of course, our knights. We have a warrior here that we can recruit, Theonil. There's a hermit up in the corner there, Minota, and yes, we have her key item as well, so she'll be joining us. We have an empty spot here for any knight we choose to put, that's always nice. As for objects, there's some decorative armor here, one here, there we go. One over here, up in the corner, and then one behind that, up there, all of them having key items. There's also a hovering stone right here, and that counts as flooring. It has a key item in it as well. It takes a hell of a beating to get the key item out, so we're going to have to really pound on it. Alright, let's load up some key items as usual. Theonil the warrior is going to be responsible for breaking that armor in the corner there next to him. He's near a darkness affinity monster and a sanctity monster, so it's kind of hard to choose what weapon to load. If I choose a darkness one, then of course it won't affect the darkness monster, but it will kill the sanctity, and vice versa. I end up going with a lightning hammer, or lightning axe, because that'll do 100% damage to both of them. Minota is in reach of that skeleton up at the top, so I load some daggers for her to take care of him. And with that, our inventory is full already, so we'll have to make do with what we've got. As for the empty spot, I go ahead and throw Moira in, our permanent hermit. It's going to be a good spot for her to farm gems. Theonil is talking about Colleen, a duelist that we recruited not too long ago.
I'll take you down.
And that's a priestess that we've recruited as well. Alright, so Minota recruited, and looks like it doesn't necessarily have to be a pleasant memory to recruit a knight, huh? I've got Theonil working on hitting that armor to hopefully bust it open and get the key item out. There's some pretty strict timing on how you handle the objects in this stage. If you're not on top of things, they're going to respawn at the wrong times and prevent you from moving forward into the stage. Alright, key item gotten, and he also killed that eyeball monster at the same time. Now to destroy the armor completely. Alright, the armor is removed from the field for now. Minota can get a quick kill on that skeleton.
Your soul shall be Follow my lead. Break out. Your soul shall be cleansed. Follow my lead. Rule of Buddha.
Skeleton down. He needs one last hit to finish him off.
Break out. Your soul shall be cleansed. As I expected.
Down to 6 seconds in the round. Not much left to do except farm for gems.
I'll take you. Feel the wrath of my blade. Follow my lead. Rule of Feel the wrath of my blade. Follow my lead. I'll take you down. Feel the wrath of my blade. Follow my lead.
Alright, good job, Moira. Alright, we got 2 key items. Minota actually got one up in the corner too. I didn't mention when it happened. So that's handy. Out comes Theonil, and in goes Alonso to move into position. Our target is this armor in the corner next to Alonso. He can beat on it if he wants. It's not mandatory that he gets the key item out. As long as he's in position at the end of the round, that's fine. I took out Minota and put in Liz, our permanent priestess. She has that Venus wand that she can overcharge. She'll do heavy damage to that floating, hovering block, which she's going to need to do. Otherwise, this is going to take way too long to get it broken down. And of course we have key items loaded for the 2 NPCs on the field. Now that flying monster covers the path of that hovering stone, so he's going to be in the crossfire of Liz. That's Alonso's target right there. I have a witch in the way, so he's going to load up a darkness lance and hopefully take her out along with taking out the object. Although, like I said, it's not mandatory that he actually gets the key item out. It's more important that he gets in a position. He can get it beat up if he wants, but as long as he's in position, I'll swap Johan in next round, and then Johan can take care of it from there. Alright, not really sure what she's talking about. Liz is talking about a duelist we've recruited. She's been transsouled away since. Alright, apparently that's what the little girl maid was talking about. Quite a blunder, huh? Get over it, buddy. Alright, let's get Alonso in position so he can beat on that armor in the corner. A lot of bouncy attacks, those friggin' eyeball monsters. Pounding on the armor. Now, in hindsight, it would have been better to focus my energy on killing some of those enemies first. I get a little narrow-minded when it comes to key items, though. I really want to make sure I get them taken care of before anything else. Alright, key item popped out. Alonso's not in position, though. He needs to move back. There we go. 5 seconds left in the round. Let's see what kills we can get. Liz didn't get a chance to overcharge that, but she did manage to kill the monster. Now, as it were, the monster was standing over that hovering stone, So he took the damage for that hovering stone. It's still going to be at 0% damage now. That's ready to be broken by Johann. Let's get him in here. I'm trying to decide what weapon to give Johann so he can fight those monsters down there near him. I end up with the Slasher +4. Good old Slasher. We got that on stage 1, I believe. I go ahead and pull out Moira and throw in Dreas, our archer. That's a good spot for him. There's a floating monster, an eyeball monster, directly across from him that is just going to be dead to rights. There's no escape from Dreas. In the meantime, Liz is going to have to keep working on that hovering stone. We want that key item out of it. Johann has to smash that armor and clear it from the field. I'm waiting to try and get a twofer with the witch and the armor. And she moves out of the range of the attack and doesn't receive very much damage. That's fine, we did smash the armor. Dreas is going to unload on that floating eyeball monster guy. And because he's an archer that hit in law phase, the victim is going to be stunned. So there he is sitting on his butt, helpless. It's going to be even more easy pickings for Dreas. Okay, Liz is going to overcharge and then hit that hovering block thing. So there, even with an overcharge, it only did 30% damage to it. This is going to take a while. Looks like the enemy recharge time is slowed due to a rush count effect. So if you look to the left, it's taking them longer to get ready for their attacks. Alright, missed completely. Good job. I went to interrupt that guy, but actually it turned out better that I didn't. Now there's two little blobs I can beat on for gems. Alright, two ogres, a lamia, and a witch. This is going to be a pain in the butt. Okay, Johann's done his job. He's cleared out the armor. So I'm going to pull him out and put in Alonso. It's going to be Alonso's job to get in position. Give him that darkness lance. Dreas's bow vanished. It's been eroded away due to the duration being expired. That's fine, I have one just like it, so I throw it on. Liz still has her Venus wand. That's good for her. She'll keep picking away at that hovering stone. And I start this round trying to kill that lamia just because I need to thin the herd a little. So there she sits stunned. Another quirk of the stun mechanic is that any enemy that's stunned will take full damage no matter what. Very handy. Down she goes. Good riddance. Alonso moving into position. Oh, excuse me. He wasn't trying to move. He's just trying to attack. Waiting for that stinking ogre. Last time I couldn't figure out why I couldn't get 100% damage on Scapio when Alonso was right there. Blaze Emblem pointed out in the thread, well, it's because he was overlapping my knight. And yep, that seems to make sense. That's been the case so far with that ogre as well. Alright, Liz overcharged, and she'll hopefully hit that witch a little bit in the splash. Good job, Liz. She's done her part. Finally, that ogre's just going to have to take what I got for him. Down to 10 seconds. I need to get Alonso into position. I gotta stop screwing around. Just enough time to charge one more attack. Let's see if we can kill that green ogre. Down he goes. Okay, Alonso. We're entering turn 5 of 9. We're making decent headway. We still have some key items to worry about. Out comes Alonso, and in goes Hilgard, our duelist. It's going to be her job to hop up to where that ghost is. Remember, duelists are the only units that can do that. And it's mandatory that she does it from that position. That's why I needed Alonso to get there. If we dilly-dallied a little too long, then that armor would have regenerated and blocked us from putting Hilgard there in order to jump up. And in that case, we'd have no choice but to destroy it again and try to slip in before it respawns. Engage. However, we don't have the turns to do that. We only have a total of 9 turns this scene. So not a lot of room for screw-ups. There, I missed completely. I just completely missed. Total airball. We get him this time, though. Kind of hard to see with Hilgard in the way, but that ghost is stunned as well, being a law attack from an archer. Down goes the ghost. Time for Liz to overcharge and pound on that hovering block a little bit. Alright, hovering block at 90% damage. It's getting close. Go ahead and have Hilgard, our duelist, pound on that armor up above her. Hopefully she can get it out this round, the key item. Alright, 10 seconds ago and no magic points. I have to farm with Dreas. Alright, and Hilgard can get one last attack off. So 0.9 seconds left in the round. It's a little risky to have any key items pop out. If I had been struck before collecting that key item, the round would have ended, and in that case the key item would have vanished. We would have had no choice but to destroy the armor and let it respawn. So always kind of risky to do that towards the end of a round. The first armor has respawned, and it has only a weapon in it. That's good, because none of my knights are in any position to beat on it again. I still have to destroy the one up above Hilgard, so in goes Johann. And he can only reach that armor if he's in chaos phase, so I need a chaos weapon for him. So, 3 Sanctity weapons loaded up, don't have any Darkness weapons. Kind of a weird draw of monsters, not a lot of variation in their types. There's been 1 Sanctity monster and 3 Darkness monsters per round.
Engage.
Dreas going for that dragon in the middle immediately. Let's just get him out of here. Alright, he's stunned.
This is the judgment of the heavens. It worked.
Alright, he's still alive. Let's see if we can finish him off.
Break out. This is the judgment of the heavens.
There we go. Good riddance. Comes Liz. She doesn't need to overcharge, but I do anyway for some reason. And land the blow on the witch. So once again, the witch is going to take the damage for that hovering block. Yep, hovering stone still intact. Still has its key item inside it. I'll have to get it next round. Let's have Johann smash that armor. Okay, nothing left to do now but farm gems. And unfortunately, I need to do it in Law phase. There's no fog left in Chaos phase, so no gems to be had. And Dreas doesn't have a very good angle, and neither does Johann, so I'm kind of at a loss here. There's nothing to do but end the round. Okay, we're entering scene 7 of 9. That hovering stone is the last known key item we have. However, that armor needs to regenerate. The armor in the upper corner next to Liz, there's no way for a warrior to destroy it completely. There's no way for a warrior to get there. So it's just going to have to sit there like that. The armor underneath Johann is respawned in, so it's fortunate that it only has a weapon in it. Otherwise, there'd be nothing we could do about it. Alright, Liz, let's get this hovering stone opened. Don't need to do the overcharge, it's already at 90% damage. There, finally it comes out, and Liz begins to flicker. She's running out of vitality. Dreas is going to take out that knight standing on that spot there. Have to wait for him to be open though for an attack. There we go. So he lands it, and now the knight's stunned, so if I'm quick I can get another hit in. There we go. Good job, Dreas. Unfortunately, Dreas is not in a good spot to get those guys. Only 30% damage on that skeleton, so I don't take it. I don't want to waste his vitality on that. Johann's in a similar position. He can't really get any blows landed. So, once again, I end the round. Alright, we're about to enter round 8 of 9. If you look at the monster matrix, we have quite a few kills, so we're doing okay. That armor has respawned, and there's another key item inside it, so we need to beat on it. And once that's done, there's nothing left for us to do but get kills and end the round. I go ahead and pull out Dreas and put him in Liz's spot. She's getting benched for now, she's too tired to go on. But that's a good place for an archer, he should be able to cover the enemies pretty well there. Moira goes into the empty spot so that she can farm gems and get some quick hits. And then out comes Johann, and in goes Hilgard, our duelist, so she can pound on that armor. So Hilgard will get the final key item. The rest of the knights will get kills. That spot Moira's in is just such an awkward place. It's hard to get hits on no matter what knight you use. Pull out Liz's wand. She's not on the field, so she can't use it. And I end up not giving a weapon to Moira. She's just going to be on gem farming duty.
Engage!
It's showtime!
Break out!
Vanish! Break out! Vanish!
Oh, there's my key item. I want it. There we go. And I slam into the bubble to get the bow.
Break out! This is the judgment of the heavens.
Alright, good job, Dreas. Let's see what other kills you can get.
This is the judgment of the heavens. See that?
I'll feel the wrath of my blade. Follow my lead.
That ghost that's located where Hilgard is going to be safe now. I pulled Dreas from his spot, so there's no knight that can really deal with him. So he's perfectly safe now, and he knows it.
Feel the wrath of my blade. Follow my lead. Will of feel the wrath of my blade. Follow my lead. Will
That's the end of the round. We're going to go into the final round. We have to get some kills. We're sitting pretty here, but there's still a chance to screw it up. There's one final monster in the rotation, so we got to be sure to drag her in. And it's that witch there. There we go. We just got to get that witch killed. Dreas' bow has vanished. The duration was spent once again, but I have another one just like it, so in it goes. You should be able to cover the witch, but just to be safe, I throw in some daggers for Moira. So there's going to be no escape for that witch. Alright, let's do this.
Engage! You're good. This is the judgment of the heavens. It worked! You're gonna get it! You're gonna...
I'll take you down. Your soul shall be
And there she goes.
We won!
Good job, guys. Okay guys, here at the inventory screen, we had quite a lot happen. A lot of our permanent knights are getting low on vitality, and I was forced to deal with it finally. It's not a pretty job, but of course the only way to really rectify that is through Transsoul. So let's take a look and see what I did. First off, we saw during that round, Liz began flickering. She was getting tired, she was running out of vitality. Of course that's fatal if we let her vitality reach 0, and that's not acceptable. So I looked around and found a suitable Transsoul participant, Walder the Archer. If we look here, above Liz's head is a little thought balloon that's giving us an idea of what's going to happen if we do this Transsoul. Looks like her vitality is going to have a big gain, her Law Index is going to stay about the same, and her Chaos Index is going to go down a little bit. I'm okay with that because I don't typically use Priestesses in Chaos Phase anyway. If you remember, that's a Graham attack, and I'm not too fond of those. Although they certainly have their uses, don't they? At any rate, I found this to be an acceptable proposition, so I went through with it. Walder accepted it as well. There he is. He's all willing and able, so thank goodness for that. After the end of the Transsoul, we see here that Liz originally was at level 24. The Transsoul itself raised her to 25, but it only raised her max to 28 now. That's a little disappointing. I was hoping that her max would be raised more than that. At any rate, we're going to have to deal with it. If we go to the next screen, she actually gained a total of 10.73 vitality from that Transsoul. Alright, that's not too bad. and she lost 3 from her Chaos Index, and as I explained, I'm willing to accept that. If we take a look at her vitality growth chart, we can see that she really stands to gain some serious vitality upon leveling up. However, what's throttling her now is her stinking low level cap. Here we can see that the yellow line represents her current level, level 25, and there's some shading to the right of that yellow line. Now that shading represents if we continue to level her up to her cap, then that's how the line would travel along the graph. So I go ahead and dump some experience points into her. She is level 28 now, that's her new max. The experience points above her head, that 20,584,000, that's the pool of experience I can dole out to whatever knights I want. It's not her personal experience. At any rate, I did give enough to her so that she would max out. And if we go back to her vitality chart, we can see that the yellow line did travel to the right and filled in to where the shading was. So now she's stuck at her cap again. She can't advance until we do another Trans Soul. So a little disappointing that her cap only raised to level 28. But in the end, through leveling up, she gained some more vitality and ended up with 15.33 it looks like. So we can keep her afloat a little bit longer with that. The next person I looked at was Hilgard, our duelist. Hilgard's vitality is 12.8, which is hanging in there, but I didn't want it to get too much lower. Once again, I went through the ranks and saw who would be a good fit, and I settled on Gaish, I think you say his name, Gaish, the wizard. If we see here, she stands to gain a lot of vitality. Her law index is going to go down a little bit. Now, that kind of stinks, but to be fair, she has a ridiculously high law index anyway, and it's going to be hard to maintain that. So a small loss is going to be acceptable to me. On top of that, her Chaos Index goes up a little bit. I don't really use duelists in Chaos Phase very often because, of course, when they attack in Chaos Phase, they actually move, and there's only so much you can do before you get them stuck somewhere. So for that reason, I try to shy away from using duelists in Chaos Phase for the most part. At any rate, it was irrelevant, and I went through with it. Gaish there seems to have expectations for us using his soul, and I don't think that's too much to ask for. Hilgard, from the Trans Soul itself, raised her from level 24 to 27, but her max is only 29 now. So once again, kind of a disappointing raise in the cap of the level of the knight, but we'll make do with it. We can see here that the Trans Soul gave her 16.2 vitality, not too shabby. Her law index only took a hit of 1, which that's pretty good, I'll go with that. And finally her Chaos Index went up by 2, which I don't care too much about. After that, I went ahead and leveled her up completely to level 29. So she's sitting pretty right now, she's doing okay. She should be fine for a little bit longer at least. Moving on to the next knight, it was Johann. This was kind of a tough one. Rolf, the wizard, was the best match for him. And I felt kind of bad doing this because recently we had a vote in the thread for a permanent wizard, and Rolf was runner-up. He lost to Freeber, and it was a tight vote. So since he lost the vote, he is susceptible to Trans Soul, and as it were, he has a high affinity with Johann. Rolf is the leader of the 11th Order of Knights, which Johann is a member of. And apparently they're buddies or something, I don't know, they have high affinity. And you can see from here, Johann stands to gain quite a bit of vitality. His law index will go up a bit, and his chaos index will go down a little bit. I'm not super thrilled about the chaos index going down because I really like using warriors in chaos phase, but I'm willing to eat that in order to get the vitality. So I go ahead and go through with it. Into the kiln he goes. Rolf is okay, he's accommodating with us. Johann's level stays the same at 34, but his cap raises to 40. And I believe this is unique text that Johann says upon this Trans Soul with his buddy Rolf. On the next screen we can see that Johann gained 12.75 vitality, not too shabby. Law index went up +4, okay, good. Chaos index went down 4, and as I said, I can live with that. If we look to the right here, we can see all the Trans Souls Johann's received so far. So Michelle, Bonita, Diora, Heinel, and now Rolf have all laid down their souls for Johann to keep going. Quite an investment we have in this guy, huh? Afterwards, I took him to the experience spot and dumped some experience points into him, raised him to his max. So now he's sitting at 32.8 vitality. That should keep him going for quite a while. So it should be a while before we have to come back and do this again. Finally, Moira was getting low, a little too low for my liking as well, with 11.66 vitality. I went through the list and found one that was acceptable to me, Nina the Duelist. As we can see here, Moira stands to gain quite a bit of vitality. Her Law Index is going to go down, but I don't really use Hermits in Law phase as much as I probably should anyway. They have kind of an awkward attack range, and it's difficult to use, although it does result in some interesting status effects. At any rate, I was content with that. The Chaos Index stays put, and I'll live with that as well. So we went through with it, and here's Nina, sacrificing her soul. Moira, upon receiving it, stayed at her current level of 27, but it raised her max to 34. If we go to the next screen, Moira gained 13.08 vitality out of that, and lost 4 of her Law Index. I went to the experience screen and leveled Moira up to the max, so now Moira is sitting pretty with a decent amount of vitality. Alright guys, I think that's enough to keep us afloat for a while. This took a lot out of me, it was tough to do, but sacrifices have to be made, don't they? Let's move on. Alright guys, that brings us to the next scene, and it looks like next time, Leonil is going to get his. Before we move on, I want to talk of course about the things we just saw. In the flashback, we did see Cape Horn pressuring Gunther to put on that armor, the cursed armor that we saw Yelma make from the magic she learned from Zolganark. Here Cape Horn was saying, I'm gonna back the young prince to be our next leader. Yeah, bullshit. As the player, we know the Cardinal is, if not responsible, at least aware of the prince being a werewolf. But of course he's full of shit and telling Gunther, oh gosh, yeah, I really want to back the prince. He should be the one who comes into power now that the king is dead. He then says to Gunther, "You really should wear this armor." And the reason being, it'll be seen as proof that the prince recognizes you and your devotion to the nation and the royal family. Now, Gunther up to this point has been described as a stand-up guy. The knights look up to him, the citizens look up to him, he's just a cool dude. So why does he need to establish his devotion to the royal family? Well, Cape Horn had just mentioned, well gosh, the king's dead and it's obvious to me you can't be held accountable that the king died. But I don't know, in the eyes of the common people, they'll probably think that you're the reason why he died. So, if nothing else, you have to give Cardinal Cape Horn credit. He's crafty. He's a sly fucker, isn't he? Put some doubt into Gunther's mind and tricked him into putting on the armor, and of course the rest is history. The armor consumed his mind, and he became the cursed knight that we had to kill a few scenes ago. Another thing that happened that was of interest was that we saw a knight that we had seen before. Vishna was in the cutscene just now, and we had seen her way back, oh gosh, this was a long time ago, back when Cape Horn first called his meeting with his generals. So he had a meeting where Lionel and Aquina were both there, but Yelma didn't show up. And of course that pissed off Cape Horn. So he summoned Vishna and said, "Hey, Yelma, I want you to watch her and report her activities to me." So he put a tail on Yelma, and that's what Vishna's purpose is. Vishna agreed to it and said, "Yeah, I'll do it." Well, now we see Vishna has been skulking around the royal crypt for some reason and saw Algerie, which was a surprise to her. She said, "Wait a minute, the cardinal ordered her to be captured. Why is she here?" Now we know that's true. The cardinal did order Algerie to be captured. We saw that in a flashback 2 nights after the tragedy at Aventhian Castle. We saw Aquina and 2 guards chase after Algerie. Aquina says, "Hey, we know someone let the king's murder into the castle. And since you're a fucking spy, yeah, you must have been the one that did it." So we do know, yes, Algerie seems to be a spy. The evidence seems to point towards that. However, we also know that she loved the king, so it's doubtful that she played a hand in his murder. However, of course, she makes a convenient scapegoat, doesn't she? So the cardinal's no dummy. He knows he needs someone to take the fall. He needs a patsy, and a Tiamat spy would be perfect. Algerie counters with, "You don't plan to arrest me, you're going to kill me, aren't you?" Aquina doesn't really have a response to that, and Algerie turns tail and runs away, with Aquina yelling after her, "I don't care if she dies." In fact, it'd be quite convenient if she did die, because then there'd be no way for her to defend herself against these accusations, and it would wrap up it with a nice tidy bow. So, once again, Cape Horn is proving to be quite the crafty son of a bitch. However, that happened 2 nights after the tragedy of Aventhian Castle. The next night after, so 3 nights after the tragedy, we saw a cutscene in which Frabella, a duelist, mentioned to some of her fellow knights, "I'm going to follow Algerie into the western land." So it sounds as though Algerie did escape Aquina and those guards. Well, why are you going to follow her into that western land? Well, because the cardinal ordered it. Algerie is a spy, and that's the rumor anyway. So, as far as the Cardinal Cape Horn is concerned, Algerie was chased, but she got away, and so he thinks, okay, she must be going west, let's send some people out after her. Now, that's all fine and well, and it makes sense. However, we did see a cutscene in which Yelma had Algerie locked away in a prison. So it seems as though Algerie got away, and somehow Yelma came across her and took her in and imprisoned her, and did this without Cardinal Cape Horn's knowledge. So Yelma decided, okay, I can use Algerie for my own means. I'm just going to take her and not say anything to Cardinal Cape Horn about it. And in fact, sure enough, when she's assigned to bring the corpse of the king to Zolganart, Yelma goes to Algerie and says, hey, I've got a job for you. What a bunch of conniving shitheads. I mean, nobody can trust anyone else. It's crazy. A bunch of assholes. Moving on. I do want to point out, I did like this little cutscene where Lionel looks up, sitting in the round table, he looks up and says, it's here. I wouldn't go as far as to say he's afraid of us, the Wisp, but he certainly recognizes us as a force that's coming, and is coming for him. He's in the way, and he wants to fight us, that's all fine and well, but it really does feel like we're becoming the hunter, doesn't it? Anyway, that brings us to where we are now. As I said, Lionel is an interesting fight. I think he's going to give me some problems, but I guess we'll see what happens when I do it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.